Hi, my name's Rich Harrington. I'm the publisher of Photo Focus, and I'm excited today to be teaming up with the folks at Macphun to teach you more about how to make great fireworks images. Now, fireworks are a lot of fun, but there are some things you can do to improve the quality of the images you capture, as well as the images that you develop. Let's get started by talking about equipment. When it comes to equipment, I don't want you to run out and buy a bunch of new stuff, but a lot of folks have the equipment, they just leave it behind. First off, bring a camera body. Don't care what it is, just bring your camera that you're familiar with. You don't want to be trying to learn a new camera while standing out there in the dark. It's not a bad idea, though, to bring a second lens. Now, I'll typically bring a wider lens, something between 12 and 28 millimeters, so I can easily see a wide view. After all, you don't know exactly where those fireworks are going to go off. And then you might want to bring a slightly longer lens so you can get a tighter shot. That way you could really capture beautiful fireworks and get the most out of your camera's resolution. Now, I always recommend bringing some spare batteries. You see, your camera has to have power, and nothing is less fun than being in the middle of a shoot and having to end the shoot day or shoot night because you don't have any juice for your camera. So bring some extras. Now, the next stuff is all about making sure you have a clean, dust-free image. I recommend, if you can, get a blower or something simple. This can be great as it allows you to keep your lens clean, and you can even use it to clean the sensor of your camera. Speaking of staying clean, there's going to be all sorts of debris and other stuff going on. I usually keep a lens cloth and a soft chamois that I can keep my camera clean. Now, one of the things you're going to learn in this tutorial is that we're going to take a slow exposure, potentially several seconds. For that, you're going to need a tripod. And so that your camera doesn't shake when you push the shutter release, look for a wireless release or a wired release, so with the push of a button, your camera takes a picture. This will give you even higher quality photos. Now, always have enough memory cards. I'll usually travel with a few extras and bring them out with me, and I keep a nice case so they stay safe. That way I don't lose them or put them through the wash. You don't want to spend a long time shooting and have nothing to show for it. And lastly, remember, you're going to be shooting at night, so when the fireworks are over and you need to pack your equipment up, having something like a flashlight is going to really come in handy. I usually keep it in my camera bag, and it's very easy to power on, and it means that when I'm getting packed up after the shoot, I don't leave any equipment behind. After all, safety first. All right, gather up your camera equipment. I recommend packing the night before. That's what I'm doing here. And now it's time to go out into the field and capture some great photos. We've arrived on location at our fair, and it's time to capture fireworks. But I first want to let you in on a secret. Normally when you use your camera, it's all about freezing the action, but that's not the case with fireworks photography. What we're trying to do here is actually capture a slow exposure, a longer one where we leave the camera open for 3 to 5 seconds to get all that beautiful light from the exploding fireworks. But to do this, you're going to probably have to change the way that you normally shoot. Let's get started. I've done some walking around the fair, and I found the perfect place to shoot. Now you might be wondering, what are we doing outside the fair? But that's the secret. You want to get away from the crowds, but still be close enough for a clear view of the fireworks. And if I put my tripod down in the middle of a crowd, I'm going to get bumped, I'm going to be in the way. So sometimes you have to go to the outside edge. Now, if you're out there shooting with your family, just try to step away from the crowd. Find some space, and you'll be fine to start shooting. Step 2, you need to get rock solid. Now, it doesn't matter if it's a consumer tripod or a pro tripod, but you do need a tripod. I can't recommend this enough. Hand holding a camera is going to give you soft, blurry photos. What you want is the ability to put that camera on your tripod, lock it in, and have it be rock solid. Step 3, remove the camera shake. Now you might be thinking, isn't that what the tripod's for? But you see, every time you touch the camera, you add a little bit of shake. So you want to remove that. Now you can use a wired release or one of these here, like this wireless one. Push the button, it makes the shot, and that works great. But if you don't have a remote, it's not a big deal. You can go in and set up a 2-second delay in your camera menu. Once you do that, you just wait to hear the rockets go off. You hear the boom, push the button. The camera will wait 2 seconds and then fire off the shot. And those 2 seconds are enough time to let things settle down. Another advantage of using a remote trigger is that you can keep your eyes open. You can see the horizon so that as those fireworks move around, you don't miss a great shot. Step 4, it's all about RAW. If your camera can shoot RAW, you should really try it. RAW files are so much higher quality, and when you go to your computer to edit it, you can have more control over things like noise, white balance, the ability to bring out details in the image. It's just going to turn out better. So take advantage of this. But you can have the best of both worlds. Just go into your camera menu, take a look at the quality settings, and choose RAW plus JPEG. Now you got JPEG files that are easy to post and share, and when you've got the time to do the editing, you can make those fireworks photos look fantastic. Step 5, it's time to kill the noise, or at least the noise reduction. Your camera has a setting called long exposure noise reduction, or something close to that. And what it means is that when you take a long exposure, say 5 seconds, the camera then waits another 5 seconds after the shutter closes and processes the image to remove the noise. Well, that means that you don't get a chance to make as many great shots. So you're going to want to turn that off because noise reduction is so easy to fix on your computer. So just jump into your settings and make sure that long exposure noise reduction is set to off. If you don't see it, you might need to switch into manual mode, which we'll talk about next. Step 6, it's time to dial in the right settings. And I've got 3 different recipes you could try. The first one's pretty easy. If you've had a long day and you're out shooting and you don't want to think about it, or you're not super confident with your camera, no big deal. Just turn the dial and go into scene mode, and chances are your camera will have a scene mode for fireworks or for a nighttime cityscape. And these presets should work pretty well to get you great looking fireworks images. Now, they're not as good as going manual, but they're a lot better than the default auto mode because they're optimized for shooting at night. Option 2, it's time to go manual. You see, your camera's going to probably guess wrong if you leave it in auto. It's hard to guess what's going to go on over there with the fireworks. But if I dial in the right recipe, my camera knows what to do. And it's pretty simple. First, put the camera into manual mode. That'll give you control over the aperture, ISO, and shutter speed, letting you get the perfect exposure. Then set the ISO, probably somewhere between 200 and 400, depending upon your camera. You'll have to do a couple of test shots. If you put the ISO too high, you'll see a lot of noise or grain in the picture. Next, you have to adjust your shutter speed. This is how long the camera shutter stays open when you press the button. You're going to use something between 3 and 5 seconds with most cameras. And this is going to give you that beautiful image where the fireworks just glow and fill the frame. It's really pretty looking, and you want to take precise control. Now, you'll have to do a test shot, so you might adjust this depending upon how things are turning out. If it's a little dark, make the shutter speed longer. If it's too bright, make it shorter. The next setting is aperture. This is the size opening on the front of the camera. And as you adjust this, usually with the front dial on your camera, it changes. A smaller number means a bigger opening and it lets in more light. You're going to shoot somewhere between an f5.6 to f8 so that you have good control over how much area is in focus and you still get a lot of light coming into the camera. The next setting to change is focus. Now, you might be used to using autofocus on your camera. It's a great feature. But when shooting fireworks, it just doesn't work. If you push that button and the camera has to hunt for focus, you're going to miss the shot. So switch to manual. This will be a switch on the side of your lens or maybe on the side of the camera or in your menu. And by going to manual focus, you can get the shot you want. Now, all you need to do is adjust focus. You're probably going to set it on the mountain range or infinity, and that'll ensure that things that are far away are perfectly in focus. Now, just like any cookbook, a recipe will often need to be tweaked to taste. You're going to have to make small adjustments, and depending upon your camera, it might behave differently in the light. If your shots are coming out a little bit too bright, no big deal. Reduce the shutter speed or use a smaller aperture, which is actually a higher f-stop number. If the shots look a little bit dark, well, make that shutter speed a little bit longer or go to a smaller aperture number, which is a bigger opening to let in more light. Now, this is the sort of thing you want to practice with. You're going to be standing out there in the dark. Get familiar with all the buttons and dials on your camera so you can quickly make adjustments. Most of the time, it's going to be the front dial and the back dial that you spin to dial in that exposure triangle. Now, the next option is for those of you who want to level up. If you want to shoot like a pro, you may have an option on your camera called bulb mode. And what this does is put you in control over the shutter speed. Simply turn the shutter speed dial all the way past 30 seconds, and you should get to a mode labeled bulb. What happens here now is pretty simple. When you press and hold the shutter button, the shutter opens. And when you release your finger, whether it's on the remote or the camera itself, the shutter closes. This means you can get whatever shutter speed you want, and you can quickly experiment. So I press and hold the shutter button, and then I release, and it makes that exposure time. This gives you total control over what shutter speed you're shooting with. I hope this advice helps you capture some great fireworks photos. I'm going to head back to my desk and process my images to see how things turned out. All right, we're back from the shoot, and I want to quickly show you how to use software from Macphun to enhance a fireworks image. Let's open up an image. I'm going to take this one here and just drag it onto the Intensify icon in my dock. Intensify is all about adding details. Now, you'll find several useful presets that you can try out, and these presets are really great at changing the intensity of the image. Things like HDR Soft is a great way to really bring out some of those dynamic details in the image. Or Absolute Clarity really starts to make things stand out. You'll notice that the descriptive presets here are there, and you can try these different options out to see what you like. Using the up and down arrow is also an easy way to quickly step through any presets. When you find one that you like, you can also easily quickly tune it. Just click on the slider here and drag left to right, and that'll allow you to dial in the intensity of the effect. If you're happy, you can quickly click the Share button here and save out an image by choosing Save Image As. You'll find friendly formats like JPEG and PNG, which are great for sharing for the web, or you can archive files like a Photoshop document, TIFF file, or even OpenEXR to save a raw photo, and that works quite well. If you decide you want to hand off, you can do that too. For example, if I punch into 100% here, you might notice just a little bit of noise in the image. Now, I don't see any noise in this image, but if there was, it'd be a piece of cake. I can click on the Save and Share button, where with one click, I could hand this off to Noiseless to remove any distracting noise in the image. All right, that gives you a quick idea on how to process your images using tools from Macphun. If you head on over to their website, I've got a detailed tutorial that will walk you through some more advanced options and show you how to get the best looking photos from your fireworks images.